I'm going to wait a minute and then I'll start. I got some channeled messages and then I might pull some cards. Hello, everybody. Hi, Bob. All right, guys. Thank you for hitting like, subscribes, and the donations. I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes and then I'm going to get into the message that came to me today. Hello, what's going on? What up, everybody? June, can you do my post my Cash App for me? This message is very important, guys. So listen to the message, okay, guys? It's gonna help. It's gonna help explain what's going on in the world today, and it's gonna explain a lot of stuff. So, I'm just gonna wait. It's a $ and then GAINS 2382. 2382. So $gains 2382. What are you doing? So yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone on here, and I hope you guys are doing good. But yeah, I'm gonna if I don't, so I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna say the message. So if I don't respond to the feed or the comments right now, it's because I just don't want to get interrupted. So, so we're going into a moon cycle, and this moon is very important because it's very close to Earth. And I'm not going to get into all that stuff, whatever it is. But what it's doing, and I'm going to explain it to so that everyone can understand, because sometimes it's complicated, So what it is, this moon is, it's close to Earth. So it's reflecting. So it reflects your own natural energy. Me, I always get really hyper. Yeah, thank you, June. I get really hyper during the moon cycles. That's my authentic energy. I'm full of energy, right? But this one here, to explain it, everyone who has been doing the corrupt things. So, if you think, we shouldn't worry about anyone's karma. Karma is lesson, right? But basically, everything is getting, what they thought they're doing on the moon is getting reflected back to them. Now, remember Peter Pan? Yes, I saw this moon in my dreams like years ago. This one's very important. It's called the beaver moon. But what it's doing is reflecting things within yourself. Okay, so I was having a conversation today and I said, all these people who came against me, and did the shit they did. And I said, I ain't mad. I don't even think about them, this and that. But I said, all I wanted was, them to take accountability. Right? Apology with no good intentions is nothing, but actually it's not even the apology is actually for them. But people don't want to take accountability because what would that do to them? They would have to face that this is what they did and admit to it, right? Even if they try to go around it or flip it, this like the one thing with me, the shit I've been through, word magic, fucking manipulation, this shit don't work on me. I might come off goofy and this and that, but when it comes to that shit, I see right through it. And that's why people get mad at me, because they know I see through it and I'm going to address it or I'm going to cut that shit off, period. Right? And people don't like that when you see them. Now, and I stand I stand on that, right? So I stand on what I say. When I see something, I'm going to address it. And, I don't hold any resentment for them. I'm over it. I see you. Okay, cool. Then, you don't want to take accountability. Then you can't be in my life, because obviously, but what I'm saying is they don't want to take accountability is because that would mean for them to have to go inside. So them saying sorry is for them to admit to what they did. Right? And then what does that bring? Guilt and shame to them. Now, this moon cycle um, is reflecting. So, the things that they've done, spirit, God is going, whether it's in their dreams, whether it's bringing that same energy back to them, or just in their head, or giving visions of what they did. Heavy is a heart, right? The simple sayings like the truth will set you free. That's the truth. You know, um, I wake up, my heart's light as a feather, and that's when I'm saying your heart light, right? I admit when I what's up? I admit, when I'm wrong or whatever. Sometimes I say sorry when I don't need to, but this moon, when I say the story of Peter Pan, right? And it's so simple to look at it. Remember Peter Pan? He was scared to face his shadow. So that's people who are scared to face what they did, which is their shadow, their fear of what? Getting exposed or this or that. So it's really, guys, don't really look at the outside, it's within. So, I cut my shadow. Remember, he cut it off? I ain't scared of my shadow. You face your shadow. But some people choose not to face their shadow and keep it attached. And those are called attachments, they're shadows. So it's a fear of facing them, addressing them. And then when they say cord cutting, it ain't nothing, cut that bitch off, right? That's what that is. What up? What up? Hi, everybody. So that is my explanation of what's going on right now. So you get a lot of people that are so in the box where, I feel like, all religions have, some stuff you can learn from it. But to me, I'm more, God is God. I don't do religion, but, there's always something to learn from every religion. There's some truth in some, all of it. But when it comes down to it, you can't hide behind nothing. This moon is, the moon reflects off the sun and it's close to Earth. So that magnetic, that energy. So what it's doing is revealing everything. Masks are falling off, and people have, whether, like I'm saying, they're gonna have to go through and face the shit that they did. Now, people they can't. The shit that they did was so bad, they don't want to face it, right? Because they know that shit was fucking evil. They know what that was. So they want to choose to ignore it. Now they choose to keep that attachment, that shadow, just like Peter Pan had. So now they're walking around with that shadow because what is that fear? It all comes down to fear because they don't want the fear of what might happen, a fear of taking accountability, a fear of, speaking up for yourself, a fear of, setting healthy boundaries, a fear of what someone else might think, a fear of whatever it is. Fuck fear. There is no fear. That is what keeps, everybody stuck. Because here's another thing. I was having another conversation. It was with my neighbor, and he's like, "Yeah, Trump this, and we should drag him." I said, "The White House don't give a fuck. They're in there eating their steaks and this and that. They got a whole nother fucking underground shit. They got trains. They got fucking everything." I said, "You know what it is? You know how you Trump, because." You know how you trump all that? You know how you play against their plays? You know how we win? Because the people are stronger than that. And they don't want me to tell this. They're like, "Hey, look what's going on over here." Right? When actually you should be focused over here. Are you looking right or are you looking left? Pay attention. Now, the people who want the most, they have no control. They have no control. They project that, and then that is sent out into the world, and then that whether you choose to accept it or not, right? Because it said everything that we need is in front of us. If you give someone control, then they have it. So how do you take that back? So things are going to get shaken up a little bit. I should slow down. Because sometimes it needs to get uncomfortable for a change, right? Because everything is shifting, right? Control comes from manipulation. Here's another thing. Okay, so say, I'll give an example. With my family, they want to talk. They don't even know, certain family members I cut off. They want to spread rumors or make up stuff within their head and go talk all amongst each other, right? And that about me, but instead of not coming to me. So, all that, when people are doing smear campaigns against their character, because why? What adult goes around talking shit and spreading rumors? A baby man, a baby woman? I don't do that shit. I'm gonna come right here to you. That's, that is the one thing I don't fucking put up with. But that's and then you address it and they don't want to take accountability. So, you say something, you cut them off, block them, whatever. That's a manipulation. So here's manipulation too. Say, you're working. Someone's calling, blowing up your phone. And you're like, hey, I'm working, I can't talk. And they're like, oh, well, you never have time to talk. You just, you're so selfish, this and that. But then, when they call, they expect you to pick up and understand. Or when you call, if they're at work, you're just, okay, whatever. But then they hold it against you and flip it around to you. That's a form of manipulation and a control tactic, right? Or not taking accountability, not answering. So, and then, just flipping it around. We don't control that kind of control is manipulation. That's evil. And where does that come from? That's evil. That's manipulation. Anything done with that is not from God. That is not good. So, okay, here's another thing. Manipulation, what you're doing, if you want to go up here, with the food and shit, and people with, they're projecting this stuff on TV. Everything is frequencies. So they want to control through the frequencies. They're going to do it through, the commercials. They're going to do it through, TV that you watch. Everything is frequency. But if you choose not to listen to that, or, if you choose to, that's bullshit. It really is, because they project fear, which causes sickness. And then you start to think in your head, oh no, what am I going to do? That causes worry, that lowers your frequency. Then you actually manifest it. So here's what it is. My neighbor, he's like, I just want to grab Donald Trump, put him and his family in the streets, and people protesting. You protesting ain't going to do shit. Putting him on the street ain't going to do shit. None of them. That's not going to do shit. Instead of going over here because they're laughing, they're like, look at these people. That's exactly what they want you to do. You know how we win? Instead of looking this way, over here, what they want you to, we look over here. We look at our community. We look at the people around us. We look at ourselves, and we build ourselves and take away control over them. If we're building a strong community together, right? We're taking care of each other. Who gives a fuck what they say? Now we just took our power back. They have no power over us. And it's like this. Light versus good. What side of tracks are you on? Are you here with a bad, manipulating to control, projecting fear, or like, say people do this, they do something and then they fucking leave you on red. You know what I mean? Because they think that's another form of manipulation. There's many forms of that, right? That's what that is. So here's what it is. It's gonna look, they're going to do stuff to try to scare you because your money, your finances, food, just different things. So people get in their heads, right? Automatically. But that's all an illusion, guys. It's an illusion. That's an illusion. So the more people who wake up to it, they can't throw that illusion out anymore. You know what I mean? The illusion now is to them that they actually have control or power over us, because we trump all of that. And you know what I'm saying? I said, I'm going to spit out real quick. Why does it bother people when you sit here and tell them, the truth, and then they get mad? Is it that spirit within them? So, I was looking at, like, this is what it is. You want to solve it all over right now. Here, it's, who gives a fuck what they're doing over here in the White House? Who gives? Let them fucking, let them. Who cares? Here's what we do over here. Strong community. We build, rebuild, create our own businesses, help each other out, this and that. Start small. It's like mustard seeds and it grows, but it takes one person to start it, and then God will bring the right people, and it goes like that. They have no control if we're already providing the places, the things that we need, right? They can't, what? They're projecting fear. Fear blocks your blessings. Faith, not fear. This moon is, and everything, this is just closing of another cycle. It's just, what I was saying too is, go back, is why do people, certain people, you'll tell them like, this is how you can correct this problem or something, but they're so conditioned, if it's not by the book, or they're so conditioned, they get mad. I just gave you a simple solution. Why are you mad? Is it that spirit within you? Because like, oh shit, they know, they see through all. I'm not the one, and then they want to turn around, project, and you're crazy. I'm crazy. I'm not going to argue with you, but I see the solution, and it's really quite simple, Watson. This is how not take over the world, but rebuild it correctly, is quit letting these evil entities project fear and sickness. Because then what does that do when you're fear of what? Losing your job, your home. And be mindful too, you got people from the past, there's just certain people coming in and to try to block your shit, right? They want to, remember, it's an entity. It's always the closest one, someone trying to come in right when you're, notice the pattern. Jesus equals forgiveness? No. Christ-like consciousness. You need to forgive yourself for what you've done. Otherwise, you're going to be carrying that baggage around, and those are your shadows. You got to cut them off. Face your fears. Face your shadows. That's what I'm saying. Attachments are your shadows that you choose not to, address and heal and cut off. Fuck the devil. I ain't scared of that. What? Devil what? Devil energy? Ain't nothing. Cut that bitch off. The only thing that's keeping you blinded is the more shadows you keep attached to yourself. The devil energy, that is an energy. So once you cut that shit off, you're free. You're free of illusions and this and that. You're free. So quit worrying about all this other stuff going on around here. Start with yourself. Cut that shit off. Get your scissors out and face your shadows. Whatever it is. Whatever you got to do, cut that shit off. Right now is the time. Now is the time. Okay? Because once you do that, I can see clearly now, right? You can see through the fog, you can see through the bullshit. And you're not going to have no illusions, and you're not going to let people put a shadow back on you, right? Because you've done all that work. Cut that shit off. Face your fear. You ain't scared of nothing. There is no fear because you cut that bitch off. You cut that shit off. So, the people run around, ooh, this or that. I don't give a fuck. You carrying around demons. You're the scared one because you're hanging on to that shit. You're the weak, scary, whatever the fuck you are. The strong ones are the ones that cut that shit off, faced ourselves and did it alone. You know what I mean? Regardless, we are the strong ones. Now, people who want most control have no control. And that goes for the narcissist, right? Or whatever. You could use whatever word it is. But that's that devil energy. That's they do stuff under the moon, in the dark, manipulation for themselves, or to switch change the scenario, or do something in their favor, or try to fuck up your life because, this or that, depending on what it is. But now, right, that's manipulation. That is not of love. That is not of God, right? So we see through that. So now they get pissed, right? They're getting mad. They get mad when you see through it. You don't react because I said the people in the White House, they don't give a fuck, but you know what they're laughing at? They get that energy outside. When they see all those people outside getting, picketing or doing whatever they're doing, they ain't doing nothing. You're just giving the enemy your energy. They don't care. You don't care. Like, haha, look at them. So how about we get smarter? Fuck them. We don't give a fuck about them. We're not going to give them no energy because they don't matter. They can't do shit without us. So how about we go over here and build our own shit, right? And, whether it's just stronger communities, and it starts small. Everyone's thinking, it has to be this big thing and this, and it's too overwhelming. No, it starts small, small. Your guys are going to be getting ideas like this, and it starts with you And then God's going to bring the right people in. And then it's going to just grow and grow and grow. It's going to grow businesses. It's going to grow families. It's going to grow stability, but people have a fear. Here's a fear of change of, they're so used to this has to be that and da, 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 because that's, they're conditioned. Right. And so when they see something different, what do? They act out of fear, but we have no fear. We have no fear. Fear of what? Fear of building some good shit. Fear of setting healthy boundaries, fear of rebuilding the world, the earth, how it should be. What is your fear? They created that fear. So now a fear of what? What, you have a fear of leaving a relationship that's not healthy? Why? Because you still got that shadow. Cut that shadow off. You want to be free. You want to wake up feeling light as a feather, heavy as a heart, that holds all that shit in there. We should be waking up feeling light, right? And now is the time. Face your fears. Do the work. This shit ain't easy, though. It's not easy, right? Because they got there. How did those get there? We're born our authentic selves when we were born, but then, trauma and people and just life, then we start to put, how we protect ourselves or, what people have done to us or what you've done to other people. And that puts shadow. So now it's time to cut it off, right? So it's like sometimes the calories, eat your calories and you got to work it, you got to burn that shit off, right? It's basically cut that shit off. But, depending on the person, each person has been through more things than other people. So like I said, it's not a competition or it's not a race. It's not a competition. We go at our own pace. Like when people come in and they're like, well, why haven't you, took my part? How people heal and the time that takes them and what they need to do is different. Some people, they just go inside and do it on their own. And some people have to go talk to we all heal differently, right? We all heal differently. So people need to stay out of other people's business, and try to, if you ain't got good intentions with somebody, then keep it moving. Keep it fucking moving. But this is what this moon cycle is. It's called the beaver moon. But what is it? What if, how they build a dam and stuff like that and it gets washed away. But they have all the tools that they need to rebuild again. Now, sometimes when I'm saying things, when we're looking at it and we're like, oh shit, things are getting really bad and shooken up. Sometimes it has to wake people up. Because if things are comfortable, they're going to continue to go with the norm, blah, blah, blah. But what the norm is not actually healthy, good, and it's not benefiting, everyone as much as it could or whatever it is, right? Because God sees the higher picture, right? So sometimes things you might get moved or something might, get a little bit hard or whatever it is, but it's going to make you look another perspective, like when I said, are you looking right or left? Are you looking over here, what they want you to see? Or you take a second and you're like, you know what? That's what they want you to do. Get mad, like, what am I going to do? Or, these people going out, picketing or rioting, whatever the fuck. What the fuck? You just spent all that energy running around like a retard when they're in there like cutting their steaks, laughing like, look at these people. You did nothing got accomplished, but nothing. You just gave them your energy and you look like an idiot. And what'd you do with your time? How about y'all instead of going over here, you go over here and build something together. Right? All that energy, all those people, why don't you build something together? Why don't you create something and pour your energy into that instead of giving these fucking demons and all these stuff? Right now is not the time to project I'm karma right now, especially before this moon, because people are going to, like I'm saying, people who are gang stalking, people who are mocking, people are doing all this stuff. You're going to have to eat your fucking trough. That shit is coming, that same energy is coming back to you. You're going to have, it's not going to be good, is what I'm saying. None of this shit is going to be good. People trying to manipulate, cause confusion, disturbing your peace, steal, lie, manipulate, you know, take you out of your purpose, come against your stability, your home, doing smear campaigns, all this bullshit, all of this bullshit. This shit's coming right the fuck now. You know, the heavens let its dogs out. The dogs are out. My ears ringing. I heard them last night. Like I literally heard dogs and howling and wolves, and I heard them. They got released. They are released. And you know what? It's not for us to worry about what they got to go through. Okay? Don't worry who got what and da da da. Don't. You know, I was telling my dad today, I was like, you know, it's crazy, the wheel of fortune, everything's getting turned, but it's like what means yes is no and no means yes, because we're the rich ones. We are the rich ones. You know why? Because I have love in my heart. No matter what, you could take. That's what they try to manipulate. They try to take. You know, scare with. Oh, I can take this or take the fucking earthly things. I was born rich in my heart. I'm happy. That is the one thing. They can have all the earthly things, but they're not fucking happy. They're fucking poor and broke. You could take my shit, or I could have it all. Either way, but I remain, you know, happy, at peace, and I am rich in my heart. You can't buy a heart. You can't buy none of that shit. And if you're in a healthy, good relationship with yourself, right? You can't fucking buy that. Like, look, man, people trying to, well, you know, they go on dates or try to impress them. Like, look at, I have this and I have that. Okay, cool. You could have all that shit, but you know, why are you trying to? That's like the devil. He's like, hey, give you a fake false offer. Like, look at this. Look at it. Well, who are you? What do you got? If you don't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. And that goes vice versa. Me, I'm happy alone. I'm happy with the right people around. You know what I mean? But I'm good to the core. I don't need fucking take the shit. Take the shit. They tried to do that shit. You know, they try to attack my stability over here. Fucking take it, because I'm gonna build, like I said, the beaver moon. I got all the tools I need to rebuild again into a stronger house on a foundation, right? But what I'm saying is maybe I might not have moved if all that bullshit didn't happen. I'm glad it happened, because I'm about to build bigger and better, and it can't be shaken or breaking. But when we go through it, sometimes we don't see it, right? Maybe we didn't notice a couple snakes around. Maybe we didn't notice the foundation was rocky. Maybe, you know, we're in the wrong location. We didn't see it, maybe, right? So you kind of got to just go with the flow. I don't have any fear. I got faith. There is no fear with me. Fear blocks blessings. Fear blocks opportunities. Fear blocks. I ain't got that shadow, man. Cut that shit off. I ain't a killer, don't push me here. You know what I mean? There is no fear. So I just, you know, I fucking don't give a fuck. I do my purpose. I go where I need to go, right? I continue to heal. I continue to work on myself and, you know, set my healthy boundaries and build. Whether it's myself or my businesses, maybe it's slow sometimes, this and that, but there's different things that we have to go through in the outside world when they're the ones attacking stuff. They're like, ha, 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 you know, this and that. Well, who's laughing now? Because it actually worked in my benefit. Not only did I become spiritually stronger, physically, mentally, emotionally, right? I just became stronger, especially when they're coming from all angles. And they gotta be careful too, because sometimes we got the temperance angels out here, which some of us are here, you know, just like the devil has, you know, his agents. God has his too. We come in and we clean house. You know, sometimes we're hidden. So, you know, before you talk shit to somebody or judge a book by its cover, you know, I suggest you don't. Shit, look at Jesus. He made his own damn sandals walking around. You know what I mean? Be mindful of what you're doing. And then ask yourself, why are you judging? What grown man or woman goes out? I'm not trying to impress any adult women or men. Like, I'm me. Why the fuck do I need to go out and like, oh, I have this and I have that, or I'm me. What the fuck do I need to impress another adult? I'm out here doing what I'm doing, and I'm not judging anyone around me. So to me, like, what is that? Who the fuck are we out here to impress? When you know you're solid, you know who you are. Do you remember? Do you remember? The whole thing is to remember who you are, right? You are strong. How do you speak to it? You are strong. You do have authority. You can do it. You can do it. You can. But if it's all on the way, strong mind, how do you talk to yourself? What you say to yourself repetitively. If you say you can't, it's too hard, I don't want to, and you're looking at everything, oh, it's rainy out, it's going to be a bad day. Well, then you're going to have a shitty day because you just said it. You created that right here. Boom. Or you say, I'm thankful for this day, regardless what you're going through. I'm thankful. I'm strong. I could do anything, even if it's something little, small. Do you remember who you are? You are strong. If you say you're weak, then you're weak. I think you're strong. Even if you're going through the healing stage where you do feel kind of weak and vulnerable, or you're by yourself, or, going through facing the shadow, you might feel weak, but actually you're strong going through it. And don't worry. And the opinions of others is none of your business. If I cared about everyone when I'm at the grocery store thought, and what that person and that person and that person thought of me, that's fucking draining. When you work on yourself, know who you are, cut those shadows off, remind yourself who you are. I don't care if you're going through it, you got to get on your hands and knees, go outside, anything. Maybe you need to sleep a little bit extra, but get up, whatever it is. Face the shit you need to face, and that's yourself. Why are you talking to yourself like that? Is it insecurity? Some people have insecurities that can be fixed. You build stronger. What is weak? Why do you feel like that? Because, maybe you're in a relationship, you got left a lot, we go through relationships, karmic relationships, so we could learn on each side, you and them, whether it's abusive one or you're allowing it. This person's, learning self-worth and to set boundaries and strength to walk away, right? And maybe those insecurities came from abandonment issues, something when you're younger. See what I mean? Going back, why do I feel this way now? Right? Facing that and then setting your boundaries. I'm better than this. Even though this person wants to put you down, this person over here is also insecure. That's why they're doing that, because the one who wants the most control has no control. That's why they pick this person, right? So once this person over here is like, take your power back, set your boundaries, right? This person can't manipulate and control you anymore. This person is like this also. You go back to childhood, right? They do that for also their reasons too. They also have a fear of this or that they, they also need to work on. So then that's a karmic relationship to wake people up, both sides, right? When people are like, well, he did that. I don't give a fuck. Stop blaming other people and be like, you know what? Why did I allow it? Because what you allow will continue. Cut them out, man. They're only blocking your shit and they're blocking your blessings. Why spend time with negative people when you can have the right people in that you're going to, bounce ideas off. People have got your back that actually you could be with this, so you could be with that. I mean, people aren't going to steal from you. You give to each other. Equal give and take. Shit. People that come in, with bad intentions, they're just going to steal. That's your energy. That's your money. That's just your peace. Why the fuck would you deal with that? But they're just placeholders. So if you allow that, they're placeholders and they're blocking from others, good people, good relationships, good communities coming in. If you had all that energy back, look what you could be building, creating, or just peaceful, man. Like really look at it. Fuck the toxic. Let them all rot. And this is what this moon is reflecting to them. I'm telling you, they let the dogs out last night. The spirit dogs, like literally, they out, man. And they're going to where they need to go. So people are going to be facing what they've done, Oh, thank you. I got a coffee up in here. People are going to have to face what they've done, whether they get, spirit's going to be doing it in different ways. So it's facing Peter Pan cut that shadow off. So be mindful of people trying to come back right now. I mean, they're going to try, but don't look back. You know, when they say in that one story in the Bible, and they're like, if you turn back, you're going to turn to stone. That really meant stone means stuck. She didn't literally turn to stone, but it kept her in a stuck place. I wasn't reading the comments. So when they said don't turn around, so that means right now. People want to, what did they try to do? Try to attack your finances or attack your stability or in some kind of way that you would have to feel like you need them. So then that way, that's a contract, so they could say, oh, well, they need me. And if you cut all that shit off, they're going to come in like trying to offer you something or like, so they try to attack that. So then they send in, that energy, that person, whatever, to say, well, here's that. And so then they're connected to you in one way, or they could say, oh, see, well, I helped, a false offer. But when you walk with faith, not fear, like God's going to send the right people in, right? Or he's going to send in, the opportunities, or he's going to provide. But when you still have that fear, sometimes you're tested. Look at the book of Job, right? Look at the book of Job. When everything, the earthly thing, that shit happened to me. Like, take it, take it, take it. But that shit made me stronger, even more stronger. Even, you can get tempted. It's a choice, but then it's all given back. But it's also, look at the lessons you've learned from that. It makes you, I'm not going to explain all that, but it's everything was written in the ethers before you came down here, right? I know a lot of people is like, I don't get it. Sometimes make it make sense. You know what it comes down to is to continue to love yourself. Cut your shit, face your shadows, cut that shit off like Peter Pan. Face that shit. Don't worry about anybody else's. That's not your problem. You take care of you here, because the only, like a tree, you got a strong tree, then you can branch out. But if you're weak because you're giving your nutrients to that one and that one before you even growing strong, you're gonna die. They're gonna suck the life out of you. Then what? That's the truth. Solid foundation. Do you first. Set those boundaries. Get rid of all those shadows. Right? Pay attention. Look right, look left. Right here, they pull the illusion. The illusion. Look at over here. We're gonna take this and that. Da da da. When you're like, you know what? Stop. Take a second. Who the fuck are they? God trumps all of that. We are stronger over here. So instead of going with your first instinct, like, well, here, like, you know what? Over here. You know what I mean? Things are gonna get a little bit like this right now. Like I said, that's the beaver moon. I don't really know much about them, but I see in my dreams. But I just saw, like, the beavers, but and then the dam washes it down, but they have the tools to rebuild again. Everything that you need is in front of you, whether it's just whatever it is. But you got to use your creativity, which they try to block. With fear, blocks your creativity. With worry, with this and that, it blocks here because you're worried all the time. That's draining your energy. So just like negative people, so does negative energy, right? Pay attention. Who gives a fuck what anyone thinks? Nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? We gain weight, we lose weight. What? Yeah, it's you. There's only one you. Fucking own it. If there's something you don't like about yourself and you're like, what, I want to improve this, then you can do that. You have a choice to do that. You got that. You're blessed. You woke up today. You have the choice to go do that. You can change that. Whether it's, eating better, with talking to yourself, positively. How number one is what the boundaries and the restrictions you put on yourself. you know. A lot of times other people are like, oh, you can't do that and you can't do. Said who? Maybe you can't. Maybe you put those restrictions on you. I'm doing this. What I'm doing, no matter how long it takes me. Fear is an illusion disturbing the peace. That's a shadow. But when you cut your shit off, look, I ain't scared of shit, man. Nothing. Once you see beyond, that's just like the little man behind the curtain. You go like this, and I'm like, that? When he's talking thing and Wizard of Oz, like, ooh, and they look and they're like, this, then he's this big. Once you see through that, you're like, right? But some people choose to stay conditioned. They don't want to look because they have a fear of change. I mean, let's pull that curtain back. Oh, there was nothing. Nothing. So, do you remember who you are? You're a strong divine being. What you speak to yourself. Because when you know who you are, nobody can tell you who you are. Nobody can, you know what I mean? They want to come in, oh, you can't do this, or you're this. They want to come against, that's wrong with you, and that's to try to get you in the head. What is that, like glamour spells and spell work? Spell work don't fucking work on me. You can't manipulate my mind. I fucking had this. You can't manipulate me. I know who I am, and I see through the bullshit. Y'all too, just go like that, the curtain, cut them shadows off. You can't be manipulated, and that's why the people or that spirit in that person gets mad. Oh, why are you so mad? Why does that make you mad? Because I see through your bullshit? Because I called you out? Huh? Right? Because you've been caught? Because you can't, manipulate shit over here. I don't care if it's this much. That shit don't fucking fly with me. That shit don't fly with me. I don't do that. If there's no respect, there's no communication, you're trying to, and then you don't want to take accountability for what just happened. Why don't you want to take accountability? You don't respect me because and it's not even to me, it's to yourself, because once you take accountability, you know yourself, you're guilty of doing that, and you don't want to face that too, because then you're like, damn, I did that, right? See how it all goes hand in hand? So strength starts with you, admitting to yourself, working on it. Why did I do this? Why did I do that? And fucking get rid of it and move the fuck on. Move on. It's over. Okay, cool. Heart light is a feather. But, and they say the truth will set you free, meaning, yes, free of holding on to that shit. Why are you dragging that shit around? Face it. Ain't nothing, cut that bitch off and move the fuck on. Right? That's my message. I just talk for 43 minutes nonstop. Always everyone I know is always mad at someone else. They have all these issues with everyone else, and it's because they don't address theirs. Like, remember I said, pay attention to this, everyone, so they'll point out other people's problems and stuff to get, the attention off of them for what they did. No grown woman, one that, has emotional intelligence and clarity, is not going to sit there and act like a baby man. Oh, look what they did, or look this person's overweight, this person's under, look what they're going through, ha. Bitch, you look dumb. That they're just showing you exactly who they are. So when people do that, they're showing you who they are. You just seen that person, so that right there shows you that person can't be trusted. That person has insecurities. That's why they point out other people's stuff. They'll look for something to make themselves feel better, right? Or they'll put people in situations and then be like, oh, well, look at that person, or here, let me help you. After they did that, to see what they do. But once you see through that, then they get mad, right? That right there, boom, showed you what kind of person they are. Easy. Okay, I see you. So whether you have to deal with the workplace, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep to myself and blah blah blah, and whatever it is. But if it's a family member or a fake friend or something, you just show me that, I'm not going to keep you around. You're not allowed, because if you're doing that to other people, they're doing it to you. That's just how it works. And, maybe their karma is that, they're not allowed in your life. You don't roll like that, so why are you going to let someone else do that to you? And I sure as hell don't want to listen to other people spread rumors and talk shit about other people. I ain't got time for that shit. They can go in the corner with the other hyenas and they could all do that to each other and just drain each other's energy. They could just fucking, they can all do that to each other. You ain't bringing that shit over here. I'm cool. Fuck that shit. Nah, I have everything in my chart, but I'm a air trine. Mostly I'm Gemini. But I have yeah, so, hidden enemies, that's the 12th house. Pay attention to that. But I think I'm going to take a break. I just talked for 40. But I just talked this much. I'm air. I'm Gemini. All we do is talk, right? Why do you think they always want to shut me up? No, that's one of the gifts God gave me, to speak. We all have different gifts. Air, that's communication. Mercury. So, especially around these moon cycles, they want you to shut up. Fucking do your fucking magic. Don't work on me, bitches. That shit's going right the fuck back. Right back. That shit it can't even. What I'm telling you right now, God ain't playing. So the stuff that people thought they're getting away with, the fucking, especially on here, the gang stalking, the fucking, smear campaign and trying to manipulate, confuse, just to fuck shit up. Even on here, just in real life, that shit, whew, they're going to get their ass dragged. Confirmation. You hear that horn? Literally dragged. I don't wish bad on no one, but you know what? That's what it is. They got to learn. Right? If you don't learn, they're going to continue doing it to other people, right? Spirit stepping in. They don't believe in that? Well, they're about to fuck around and find out. The shadows that they had on them, they're trying to attach to you. They're trying to take their shadows and I don't want it, and trying to attach that shit to you. No, we got rid of that shit. Don't put that shit on me. Right? The shit they're trying to do. No. Now, it's like what you dish out, eat that trough. Like I said, Spirit's going to have a boom. Sitting at the table, hands like this, you can't leave till you finish it. What, you can't eat it? That's too fucking bad. Right? Now they're going to be at a standstill. Now things are going to be going bad. What they wish onto others is going to happen to them. Whether they were creating the problem, right? And then they're like, ha, 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 or what's wrong with you? Or, or try, oh, here, now let me help you, to make them look. It's a whole manipulation bullshit stuff, right? They're going to have to go through it. I hope they can handle it, because I swear, man, I'm like, I don't even know, some of these people couldn't even do a day of what I'm strong and I'm thankful, but I hope they're strong. And, most of them with that shit attached to them are not, but I hope, what? I hope they learn and they get through it, and, they go heal. That's the only way. So what I'm saying, especially right now, it's not the time for people to be fucking around. The dogs are out. So I just keep hearing DMX, dogs are out. Literally. I just see them spiritual, big, huge fucking, they out. Meaning they're running, they're dragging them. So they mock what they don't understand, because they choose, that's, we can't even get mad at them. That's something that we had to do with the healing work, to stop. We can't hold on to that anger with them, because that's just, it's another attachment to us. They don't understand, but, here's my way of it. I healed myself. They're not allowed in my life. They can't, you know what I mean? They can't go with you. They can't sit at your table. They can't go in the next paradigm with you, right? It's new. So, it's what they don't understand. Even Jesus said that. They don't know what they're doing. because they're blind. They're blind by the fear and the illusion, the confusion, and the chaos, right? That's in that evil, that dark. It's disgusting, So they're blinded by the fucking, oh, look at this right here. Here's this small thing that's shining, da da da. When really it's actually a trap. You know what I mean? To keep you bound or stuck or whatever it is. So that's them. But they're not gonna wake up to that. I mean, sometimes you gotta hit rock bottom. You gotta go through hell and back. We did the work. They have a choice. That's on them. But that's not for us to decide or do. But that's how a lot of people, they try to attach their karma, attach it to other people, because when God, flips it, like the wheel's turning, like I said, they're gonna have to go through that. They can't handle it. So now what are they gonna do? When the retrograde, when you haven't heard from this person in years. But when they were around, they did some shady shit, da da da. Or you're just saying on the same level. I mean, why are they? They might come in with, oh, here I have a small gift for you, but behind it is because they need da da da, because they can't handle the karma. Be mindful, use your discernment, who you're helping, who you're not helping, and why are you just popping up after 2-3 years, or why, you know what I mean? Because that's what's going to be happening. They want you to take on some of the karma. So when you're in a shit relationship, when this person has been, abusive, man, women, whoever, in previous relationships, and now you're in just, over here, and now they're going through stuff, and you cleared your karmic debt, right? I mean, normally all this stuff you would see through, but they come over to you because they want you to take on some of their karma, which will be their blessings are blocked. So what are they going to need you for? Your energy, money's energy, your spiritual protection, right? Right? That's stealing from you, your time, just everything. So be mindful, don't settle for the bullshit. If you see something, you see it, and you know what it is. Pay attention, even the little things, because they're going to come in. What's the devil do? That devil energy, it's going to look good or try to mirror your energy. They, try to study you before, there's sneaky ones. The more higher level ones, they're going to study you. Okay, if that person likes, this food, all of a sudden they like that food, or, just weird stuff like that, right? They're going to come in like that. Pay attention to that. Why do you like everything I like? And you know what I mean? Quit giving yourself to a person so fast. You know what I mean? Pay attention. Ask questions like it's a job. Pay attention. And if you see something, cut that shit off. And you don't need to explain why. You've done all the work. That's the truth. And, people can't get mad for protecting yourself or setting healthy boundaries. The only reason they would get mad is because why? There's something they wanted from you. Because if someone really loves you, respects you, they're not going to get mad about that. They understand, right? They want you to be, safe, healthy, happy, protected. So if you see something or you feel some way and you're like, you know what, that's that, then they have to respect that. If they get mad, throw a temper tantrum, then, well, they don't respect that. I don't know. So I love you guys. I'm going to take a break. I might come back and pull some cards, but that was a message I was getting out there. So really pay attention. And yeah, light as a feather. And right now it's time to rebuild. So whatever, the news, this and that, quit doing that. Okay. Or watch it. Okay. The enemy wants to put this stuff and project fear and then this and that. So, do it like when you're watching the opposite team, right? You study your team. So we're going to study the enemy. Okay, what are they going to do? Okay, we're going to counter it over here. So they want to cut food off in this net. Then we're going to build, more pantries over here, or whatever it is. We're gonna create a stronger community, or whatever it is. They want to cut off jobs and this and that. Like we'll create more jobs. Like we could create our own shit. Fuck them. Quit giving whoever they are, these evil people, authority and control because they have none. Hey, what up? Quit giving them control, right? How do you kill demon? How do you kill? You fucking stubborn. Don't give them control and they have no control. That's where the shift is happening right now. Just like I'm speaking to you, generational wealth is knowledge. So pass it on. Pass it on. Start the place. Shit. You know, even out to your garage, say, okay, whatever. At your workplace, you got a lot of people come and go at work. Okay, everyone, whoever wants to donate food, rice, da da da. Just food. Thanksgiving's coming up. Do you know, like most people don't want to ask, or just pay attention. Give family food or whatever it is. You know, when provide them and don't breadcrumb like, okay, they need food, they need help with this. If they had this, then they can build more and they would be financially free. Instead of breadcrumb, just give them exactly just what they need. Give them enough so then they can build off that and provide for their family and also then provide for other people. That's how you break that curse, and that's how you break all of that bullshit. That's how you break it. Right? Break that shit. Fucking get those scissors out. I love you guys. I'll be back. I can take a break. So I hope that helped. Thank you for your likes, subscribes, and share. Please share the message because thank you. The more you share the message, the more it's gonna help. You know, I hope it helps, to wake people up and understand and to know your worth. And it doesn't matter if you're, at a low time or high, continue to go and know your strength. That's what ride that wave, man. And like I said, that you can rebuild, and that's what that is. I love you too. Please share the message. Please continue to, know your worth, man. You got this, and blessings are coming in. The illusion is right now is a big shift. I'm telling you. So that's when they're gonna send the fucking bullshit out. So be mindful of what you're watching and what you're listening to, and even on you notice sometimes like on my YouTube, then I have like those shorts. You see this weird shit. Like, what is that? They're projecting stuff onto you. Then what? Then was your mind start thinking like, well, how the fuck they don't fucking watch this shit? No one can tell you your life, what your restrictions, but you know who you are, period. No, not yet. I love you guys. Yeah, I just been talking 57 minutes straight. So yeah, I'll be back. Bye guys.